Cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And welcome to our MCU Phase 4 list, definitive list, cannot be debated. This is the absolute list of ranking the MCU specials and movies. We will do one for part 2 of the shows on Disney Plus, but this is the absolute definitive, cannot be argued or debated list of the movies. But we're going to talk about the specials first. We're just going to kind of like, this is what we liked the most. And the difference is like, this is an 8.1 and this one's an 8 and this one's a 7.9 and this is a 7.81. We're both
the struggle was real.
We loved all of Phase 4 and the discussion of this was a step down from the previous stage. This was the stage of dealing with grief and how do you deal with that and how do you move forward from the snap and the blip and all of that. And also you have to rebuild the universe now that we've kind of gotten away from the original 6 Avengers and kind of moving forward.
They're gone. Many of them are gone.
Many of them are gone in different iterations.
Yeah.
But we really liked what they did and what they're kind of resetting up going forward. Phase 5, Phase 6, and Secret Wars when they get to it down the road.
Yep.
So let's talk about the 3 special presentations: I Am Groot, Werewolf by Night, and the holiday special from the Guardians. I loved all of these individually for what they were.
Yep.
I think I like probably Werewolf by Night a little bit more, just because it was so different than everything.
Yeah.
And composer directed it, so that just Michael Giacchino did the music, and I'm like, I want to direct it.
Right. I mean, out of the 3, the Guardians Christmas movie was Christmas special was my favorite. Again, barely, but I just liked what they did. It wasn't, I think somebody that we watched talked about how a lot of times these kind of one-off specials, especially Christmas specials, they're not canon. They don't mean anything.
Right.
But James Gunn needed to explain some things before we get to the last Guardians movie, and this was an easy way. So it is canon. It does matter, and it was, and Kevin Bacon
singing. What else do you need? And Drax and Mantis getting their moment and the spotlight
and Cosmo. It was just fun.
And all right, let's do the movies first.
Okay.
You ever watched a movie and thought like, this is just visually amazing, and I just love the way it looks, and the colors are amazing? Well, our friends over at Movie Palette have come up with these great pieces of art that you could put up on your wall to show your love of movies without really necessarily being overly dramatic about it. Think of a movie barcode kind of thing, where you can look at the colors and know what the movie is, but it's very, very subtle. If you know us, we are into Tron Legacy. The music and the lights and the color itself is just amazing. Just to give you an idea of what they have, go to moviepalette.com, find your own personal favorite movie, your movie color palette, and have it hang on your wall. At checkout, put in Pop Culture 15 to get 15% off. Thank you, Movie Palette, for sponsoring this video. Link is in the description down below. And don't forget, use Pop Culture 15 at checkout to get 15% off your order. We'll go from the bottom up.
Okay.
Of the 7 movies that came out in Phase 4, this is not an indictment on this movie. It's just like we were saying, it's like the difference of 0.1 or 0.01 or whatever.
We had to put it somewhere.
The number 7 on our list is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right.
We loved this movie a lot more than the internet did.
Yeah.
And I got it. And I'm not saying that a lot of people didn't get it. But sequels to great movies always have a bigger hill to climb.
Yeah.
And I think this, because Tika and Chris Hemsworth wanted to do something different, and not tell the same story, and they're both fathers, and so they wanted to tell a fathers coming of age and understanding their responsibility story. I think that just I think it just was missed by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunate, but I love this movie.
Yeah. I did too. And I mean, I had my reservations going in because um, I was not happy with Natalie Portman and um,
Very fair.
her how she felt about the MCU, and I'm like, but you were in it, so it was a money grab. I don't. So her coming back, I was like, okay, but she was really good. She obviously put in the work because girl got some guns,
Yeah.
and yeah, and like you said, it's a heartwarming story. It's the goats are fun. Um, you kind of wrap up New Asgard, like um, where they
The
are.
tourist location that is New
New
Asgard.
Asgard, yeah. And yeah, and that was great.
Yeah, I thought it was good. And now we're going to get a lot more flack. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating this. The difference is very close for us. But our number 6 of the movies is Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
Um, uh, this is not the most emotional I've been in an MCU movie. But this movie is about grief, like
Yeah.
period,
Yeah.
because of what happened with Chadwick.
Yeah.
And I feel it puts a really nice cap on the end of Phase 4. I know that they had a different story set up, a father-son dynamic, and I understand that, and I like how they changed it. I liked everything they did. I like Neymar as a villain, as a protagonist, antagonist. Like he's
Yeah.
everything. He's everything.
Yeah.
But I really liked everything they did. I just have been more connected to everything else than this particular story.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons that I feel a little lesser about this movie is the Neymar story, and I just feel like I I cared more about the and I don't remember what his character's name was. Michael B. Jordan's character
Killmonger.
in the Killmonger in the first one. Because you empathized with
Mm-hmm.
him and his kind of where he was, and I guess I did. I mean, you empathize with Neymar in this one, but I don't know. The feeling for me was just a little bit different.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought like the character design, all the stuff they did under the water,
Yeah.
like all of that, bringing in the um, I'm gonna try to attempt it. The culture that they haven't seen on screen before.
Yeah.
I
It's
loved
kind of
all that.
Aztec
Yeah,
type
yeah.
culture.
And I like Shuri's kind of evolution of coming to terms with her grief, which is something that her brother had to do when T'Chaka died. That
Hmm.
I like that kind of parallel,
Hmm.
and I liked everything I had, but I just more emotionally connected to everything else that came out. And you'll see what we're talking about when we get there. Our number 5 on the MCU Phase 4 movies is Black Widow.
Yep. Right. Girl power. I just Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow needed a story,
Mhm.
right? And it was whatever 10 years of fighting to finally get that. So I thought the payoff was totally worth it. We all got to fall in love with Florence Pugh, and now she's like up here on
Mhm.
our lists
Mhm.
and like everything she does.
She's on
Um,
both of our lists.
Smash.
Smash.
um, uh, David um,
Harbour.
Harbour's character is, I mean, I just thought it was great that we finally got to kind of flesh out Black Widow's backstory.
I think if the MCU started now, this would have been a Phase 1 movie.
Hmm.
She would have been introduced in Iron Man 2, and then the next movie would have been the next movie in this after Civil War. would have been Black Widow.
Yeah.
Because that's how that's how the timeline works. Or
There'd
whatever.
probably be a little more of her and Clint, their
Yeah,
kind of meeting and
yeah,
moving
absolutely.
forward.
But I just like I've watched this movie probably 7, 8 times.
Yeah.
The big fight scene of the Red Room crashing. I like it. I just like it. I can't like this is the one thing that makes the sister dynamic between the two of them is
Yeah.
just I could just watch the two of them hanging out and
Yeah.
bickering as sisters. Like there's just so much of it that's there that I liked a lot more than like say Wakanda Forever. And even though that's a somber movie than what Black Widow is, I got a lot more out of it for what I like in movies than I think.
And that could be why too, the kind of the grief movie is a little harder to just enjoy,
Yeah.
than the just fun action,
Which is
pew
very
pew movie.
considering where we're going to go.
Yeah.
In a few, number 4 is Eternals. Now, everything we just said about Black Widow and Wakanda Forever about the grief movie and dealing with stuff is kind of counter to what Eternals was. And Eternals, yes, it's a gigantic cast, and yes, you have to do all this backstory. You have to do 5,000 years of story building in one movie with 8 characters or 9 characters or whatever it is. And some people get lost in that, and I get that. That's not a criticism that I could sit there and fight against.
Right.
But
these are our personal preferences.
This is 100%. This is the list of 100%. But this was the first real movie in Phase 4 where they said, we're going to tell different stories. Yeah, we got a different story within the MCU with Civil War and kind of what they were doing. This was a stop, slow down character study.
Yeah. Yep.
And people, I don't think, were ready for that. But because of what they did in Eternals, you could stop and do a character study in Wakanda Forever.
Right. And that was when Eternals first came out. That was the main criticism that I heard, and I don't seek out criticism, so I'm sure there were many others, but just the one that I kept hearing was it was just slow.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that was the point.
That was the point. I can't. I've watched this one probably more than all of the other ones that have come out because it was a stop. Let's breathe. Let's deal with characters. Let's deal with the emotion of losing your faith, and that's
or finding out everything you believed in was a lie.
And that's something I find very interesting within the talking about the MCU because it's the same kind of conversation that we had with Captain America,
right?
But instead of talking about it like the Eternals did, Captain punched his way out of it.
Yeah,
and so I it's the same kind of conversation, at least for us. But I just feel like it was so well done. And it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Our number 3 is Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. This was again another example of we're going to tell a story that's very different than what the MCU was. And again, a lot of people didn't like that. And I get it. I understand. You get set in your ways and you kind of go forward. And people's complaint about this movie was to Sam Raimi. You're not hiring Sam Raimi to do
a non-Sam Raimi
movie.
Duh.
I'm not a big horror fan, but the monster that was Wanda and her reasoning for it just hit us in all the right ways.
Right. I mean, I love Wanda's story all the way through. Like when they first introduced her.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan of Wanda, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger. And it's, I mean, she kind of is a bad guy, but I'm a mom, so I understand how she got there. And I love Sam Raimi, so
Right. And I think one of the things too that I kind of struggle with as a critique is they demonized a woman, and it's like, okay, women have the same vengeful feelings, still have the same
yeah, women can be awful
awful
too.
too. Like it's a thing, and when you have somebody who is the strongest person in the MCU as we sit right now, and have her emotionally
Yep.
compromised, we will get to the other Wanda thing in a minute. But
And it's not like one thing either. It's not like she lost her brother and she became this cyclone of terror.
she
She
lost.
lost everything.
We
She
got
lost her brother. She lost her love. She
yeah,
lost her kids. She lost everything.
yes, and she already came from a background of emotionally being unstable because of everything that happened in Sokovia.
Right.
And so I like Thor lost everyone too, and having the two different kind of story arcs of this is what happens when you lose everyone and you become depressed and you drink yourself to death, and then you have this one where you just become a vengeful person and
Well, and the tipping point for Wanda was her kids.
her kids, yeah,
And Thor, until Thor Love and Thunder, did not have
have
a,
yeah,
a kid.
yeah,
It's a different kind of love. Yes, you love your siblings. Yes, you love your parents. You love your significant other, all of that. But until you have a child and lose them, it's a completely different level.
right. And and just we got freaking zombies.
Right.
Like we got zombie Doctor Strange. Like
Right.
it was everything I wanted, and it's the Wongiverse. Number two for us is Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yep.
I will only say we're going to talk about this for a second too, but this specifically is a redemption story for what the Spider-Man movies have been before. The only thing that this did not have was Miles Morales,
Yeah.
and it was everything else that we wanted in a Spider-Man multiverse movie.
Yeah.
And that this is connected to WandaVision. This is connected to the Multiverse of Madness. This is connected to like this is what you want in the MCU is this connectivity, and the story. Like this is Tom Holland can act, guys. He's not just looks cool in the spider outfit and stuff. I just it's it's my second favorite Spider-Man movie.
What's your first favorite?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
They're a close 1A 1B
one. Yeah,
for me.
yeah, yeah.
They were, yeah. I just I felt like it gave us everything we wanted. I mean, when Toby Maguire shows up, Toby Maguire was first, right? Or
And
was
Andrew Garfield was
Andrew
first.
Garfield was first. Yeah, yeah. Andrew Garfield shows up and everybody's like, "Woo!" And then Toby Maguire shows up and like the entire theater
Yeah,
jumped to their feet
yeah,
and was cheering. It was awesome.
yeah. It was Endgame level of excitement.
Yes.
in
yes.
the movie
in
theater.
Emotion in the movie theater.
And the only reason it's not our number one is because Shang-Chi blew our socks off.
We have watched that movie like if we're
We might have watched it more than Eternals.
I
It's pretty
think we
close.
have. No, I think we've watched Shang-Chi more
Yeah,
because it's just one of those, just throw it on.
Yeah.
Stuff's going on, we're doing laundry or whatever, just throw Shang-Chi on.
and Simu is amazing. Um, the story of again grief, dealing with grief, and how you handle that grief after losing your love. Father choosing the wrong path for his children. Being like just his sister, like Aquafina's amazing.
Yes.
Like it's just I just
And
every time I think about it, I'm like that movie is so much fun. I love it so
Yeah.
much.
and I love like kind of it gave me the original Black Panther vibes for the Asian culture that I got kind of for the African culture
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
that's a good way,
original Black Panther. I'm like,
which will be a reoccurring theme when we talk about something else down the line.
I just it gave me the I want to go live here and be immersed in this culture for a little while.
Yeah.
And, and just big old smile on my face.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That is our Phase 4. We're ready for Phase 5 with Ant-Man and Quantumania. They're going to kill Scott Lang. So let us know what you thought of our list in the comments down below. Please be nice. We're willing to have a nice conversation. You may have a different view, and that's cool. Just be
Absolutely.
nice. There's a requirement around here, actually. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Links in the description down below. Happy New Year, cult members. We got new stuff coming in 2020. What is it? What's time?
2023.
27, whatever.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. And like I said, follow us on all of those other stuff. And until next time, Happy New Year. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night now.